I've got goosebumps, when you talk about that. I mean, that's just, and everybody should, right? Because that's why I think the bottom line, that's why it's so important, for this reporting and getting your company, on that database and being an approved supplier, right, is to drive this down or eliminate it, right? And that's the goal, is to eliminate all that abuse and
At least,
tyranny. Yeah.
at least they have the idea how this work and
Mm-hmm.
what they should do and what the suppliers had to put more focus on and getting all the information for their raw material.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast for IMDS. This podcast is sponsored by SNCS. You can visit the website at www.snix-it.com. As with all my podcasts, this is for information only. We are not making any recommendations or telling you how to implement your system. We are offering information only for you to use in making your own decisions regarding your management system. The podcast this evening is focused on IMDS, International Material Data System. My featured speaker is Daknisa, going by Dee Dee Walker. Before we get started, I want to read an excerpt from the website, www.public.mdsystem.com, and it states this. There are many legal requirements throughout the world that require vehicle manufacturers to report on the content of the vehicle. Additionally, there are recyclability and reuse requirements in some parts of the world. Instead of each automotive manufacturer developing their own system and requirements, a group of them decided in the late 90s to develop a common system to be used throughout the automotive supply chain, IMDS. You are not alone. In the years since IMDS became productive, over 300,000 user IDs in over 100,000 IMDS companies as of September 2013 were issued. It is the standard for the automotive industry. Now, my husband tells me over and over again that I am not supposed to do math in public, but I think this is simple enough that I can handle it. So it's been 9 years since that update from 2013, and this is now 2022. And I am sure that those numbers have exponentially increased over time. So my only experience with IMDS is through the automotive industry. After meeting Dee Dee, I found out that this goes beyond automotive and is integrated into many different industries. So hi, Dee Dee, and welcome.
Hello. Hello.
I'm really excited to have you here. When I met you earlier this year, you told me about your experience with IMDS, and I knew that this was going to be a great topic for my listeners and that you would be a great person to talk about it. I really enjoyed meeting with you and talking to you about this subject. So, Dee Dee, can you introduce yourself to everyone, please?
Oh, sure. Hi. Nice for the invite. Thank you very much. Um, well, I had my bachelor degrees in business administration. Initially working as an international buyer planner. I was taking some courses about Six Sigma, getting my green belt, and more conferences that I was going. Then I was interested in conflict minerals, which I was working as a conflict minerals coordinator. Finally moving to the quality department, which I'm working right now as a quality engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Means different phases on my career, but I enjoy each one. Each position that I was working in each company was really fun for me. And I would like to talk about the conflict minerals, how important it is. Because if it's used in the automotive and electronic, clothing, and carpet cushion, those items contain some of the conflict minerals too, and a lot of people, they don't know that they contain. Always we said automotive, metal is just that automotive, but no, we have in the clothing industries too, because we have the zippers, they contain metal. Little metals that you can see on the clothes, they contain metal. Minimum quantity, but has to be declared. How are we gonna do the declaration? The declaration is it's a form that the government set up and they call CMRT. CMRT is a conflict mineral um, free sourcing. In that case, we are trying to fill out those forms and keep data for those companies, for the smelters, for the mining companies, for those suppliers that they are using the raw material from those smelters or mining companies. Should be a document that we are getting those raw materials from those legal companies. Because as we know, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, there are so many illegal companies that they support armed groups, traffic, human trafficking, child abuse, and so many things, terrorism, and that's why we're trying to stop that. If the government got the initiative to take care of the data from the legal mining companies and track those with documents, material certifications from those raw materials that we're gonna get and the suppliers are getting. Also, the suppliers, when they keep records of those, they can provide the same certs to the customers that they are selling their products because that is a legal document that we can track that they didn't purchase from the DRC. In that case, there is a data in the system that the government is keeping from nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
Also, European countries, they are part of that, but they don't have really established as the law says. Only USA is keeping track of that really seriously.
Wow.
In that case, we are really trying to keep really good information for our customers because customers always says, oh, I have my product, but I don't know my supplier, where did they buy the raw material?
Mm-hmm.
But they are asking always for the material search. And that document is used to be filled out on the CMRT. That is a form with a lot of questions.
Okay. So Dee Dee, if I could ask you, so when the suppliers would send the information to you, they do it just in the form of a certificate with the data that you required?
Yes.
Okay.
They have to use those certs, reading the material certs. They know that doesn't contain tin, tungsten, tantalum, or gold. In that
Okay.
case, those are the four conflict minerals that we have to keep eye on.
Gotcha.
And that's why when they present those documents, they have to go to the CMRT form
Okay.
and fill out all the questions. When the questions are already done, they have to put exactly the date that they fill out the form, and they have to send to the customer. This is the conflict mineral form.
Okay.
The customer is going to keep that information, and when they get audit, they have to present that. But every year in May,
Mm-hmm.
there is a window limit between May 15 and May 30th that all the companies, they have to provide that information to the government. That's why they are keeping records there, which smelters,
Mm-hmm.
which companies or mining companies are legal because they have all the documents in place.
Yeah.
Because if some of those suppliers are buying from the DRC, sure, might be lower price, but not documents to trace the raw material.
Gotcha. So
And
if I
those
could
supply,
if I could clarify, if you don't mind, just for my clarification and for anyone that might be listening that may not have dealt with this before. So when you talk about the certificates, we're talking about like a certificate of analysis that they would
mm-hmm,
provide with, okay, I got
material
you.
cert,
Material
yes.
certificates. I get you. And then the CMRT or the form, is that then, does that come out of the IMDS database?
That one you can find in CFSI, Conflict Free Sourcing Initiative. It's a
Okay.
web page, it's online, and there is free. You can get the form. It's a standard form for everybody. They can use that form. Right now it's on revision 6.22. The
Okay.
last revision was May 11, 2022, was this
Okay.
year.
Wow. Very recent.
When they revise those forms, there are some changes. The little changes that they can do is adding more smelters, more
Okay.
mining companies to the list, more names. You can see if there are 500 now, can be 560. They add more names because more companies are taking conscious and they are registered, and now their names are going to the list.
So these are companies, their names that are going to list that are outside of conflict minerals. They don't have any conflict minerals, or they are attesting that they are uh, don't meet any of those requirements for conflict. Did I say that correctly? They're like
Probably,
approved.
for example, if there are suppliers that they produce a product, right?
Mhm.
And they receive the form, and as a customer, I'm sending the form and I say, please provide the information for your product, if contains or not metal.
Mhm.
These companies can, no, my product is carpet. It's not metal in it. I won't fill it out the form, and they just pass. But the customer will insist, hey, I need the form. You're
Mhm.
telling me over the phone doesn't contain, but where is the document? I need evidence, right?
Yeah.
And when they are asking for that form, the only thing that the supplier has to do is fill out, no, my product doesn't contain, but they have to say no on the paper. And
Okay.
all the questions, no, doesn't contain, they can put comments, there are space for that,
Mhm.
and they have to send that to the customer. Customer receives, get the record. Oh, really? They check already
Mhm.
the raw material that they are using for the product doesn't contain any conflict minerals, because obviously the supplier did the homework, checking all the material cert, checking all the components
Yep.
for the material, and says, oh, doesn't contain really any of those conflict minerals. That there are four: tantalum, tin, tungsten, and gold. They call us 3TGs.
Okay.
That when you hear that 3TGs is the three T's with the gold that is G.
The golden G. Got it. Thank you.
3TGs.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, just a little bit more about your background, Dee Dee, because when we were talking, you had mentioned, and we won't mention the company name, but you were handling what was like 128 different locations that you were gathering data for conflict minerals and
Yeah, I
reporting.
had different branches on the companies that I was working, so
Mhm.
many branches that you cannot believe. And one, for example, about carpet cushion, the other one was spring, the other one was automotive, the other one was mattresses and
Okay.
fashion bed, different branches, different products.
Yes.
And we were just taking care of those part numbers that contains metal. That's why I was sending the form, the CMRT form, sending
Hmm.
to all the suppliers. Suppliers,
Wow.
they were calling me saying, hey, I don't know, not even how to fill out the form. Okay, you need some training over the phone.
Let's do it. And I even remember, I think that when we were talking, you even said something about glue in furniture. Wasn't it
And
something
the
about the
carpet
glue?
and the padding for carpet cushion,
Yep.
the glue contains tin, and nobody have an idea that contains metal in there
Yep.
because it's liquid, and you can see the glue put together all the cushion. Oh, it's just glue, but the glue contains tin. In
Contains
that
10.
case, they have to declare. Yes,
That
they have
was,
to.
yeah, that was amazing. That was one of the things that kind of blew my mind too when we were talking, and that you had mentioned all these, different materials and stuff and the potential for them to contain conflict minerals. And I was like, oh, who knew, right? And so that's why I was like, I've got to have Dee Dee on here because we got to talk about this so people, can really become aware of what that total impact is, right, on all our goods.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
because
not just
when I find out about that too, I was, oh my gosh, I should be studying chemistry, moving my career to other things.
Who
Like,
knew? Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So if I'm a company, right? How do I know if I have to report this information? Do I wait for my customer to tell me, or what kind of triggers that activity?
well, as part of the due diligence to comply with the SEC reporting obligations, they should participate in those companies exactly that they are buying raw material,
Okay.
or those companies that they are mining companies, smelters, that they have huge big quantity of material that they are going to start doing the distribution.
Okay.
Those companies should be, and for sure, they should be in the list.
Okay, so they should be automatically doing due diligence to ensure that they don't have the 3TG, right, that they're being
Exactly.
impacted by. Look, you taught me something. So
See,
now
so fast.
that's
Right,
that's
right.
awesome. Okay, very good. Okay, so I think that's another takeaway for everybody is regardless of whether you're automotive or not automotive or whatever industry that you're in, if you are receiving raw materials, you should do due diligence to do the 3TG search to make sure that you're not using conflict minerals. Now, if they are using if they do have like tin, then how do they validate that the company that they're coming from isn't,
It's not,
mining that way? Yeah, with child labor or other things that would constitute the conflict.
if it's coming from the DRC, automatically it's a red flag.
Okay.
And we have to investigate that
Okay.
because might be from for example, 90 mining companies in the DRC. It's an
Okay.
example.
Right.
And probably 3 are legal, but the rest are illegal. And that's why
Okay.
when are coming from there, we have to investigate. If they are listed on the smelter tab and the form that I was explaining, that is the CMRT, there are
Yes.
many tabs in the bottom. One is
Okay.
the declaration form that you have to fill out with the answering all those questions. The
Mm-hmm.
second one is another tab that says smelter list, and you can see the name of the companies.
Okay.
There is another tab that you have to pick the smelters that you were buying from.
Okay.
If it's listed, you pick. I pick from the right smelter. Means
Okay.
it's listed, it's registered, it's good.
Got you. Okay. So that kind of closes the loop on the previous conversation where that list is good resources or confirmed resources
Yes,
that would be legal to purchase from or
right,
as a
because
source.
the
Okay.
government is keeping the list, all the records. That's why they put in that template.
Okay.
When you fill out the template, you're gonna see the tabs in the bottom and go to the smelters list, and you can see 500, 600 smelters. And then you go to the next tab and you said, okay, I'm purchasing from one of those smelters. It's good because it has an ID.
Okay.
CID is the number that the government is assigning to them. In
Okay.
that case, it's a company.
Okay. Okay. I gotcha.
If
Excellent.
you don't find there, okay, and you're putting a name of company,
Oh, you're breaking up just a
okay,
little bit.
keep eye on that one. It's going to support it. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
No.
Well, just going to the list, you will check the names. If the name is not listed and they type different name there, we have to investigate that.
Okay. All right. I gotcha. Now, as far as the reporting is
And
concerned, oh, go ahead. We have a little delay.
oh, I was trying to just to add when the conflict minerals is necessary to functionality or production of the product, the rule release advises companies to consider if they are add conflict minerals to the functionality or intentionally added. Those companies have to be raised when
Oh,
the company knows that they are using
okay.
conflict minerals because it's necessary for the functionality,
Hmm.
it's okay. That company obviously for sure needs to be raised there.
Okay, so if I'm using a company that supplies gold and they are not registered, then I have to make sure before I use them, they're important for me to use in my functionality. They have to go through the government and get registered. And then I can continue to use them. Oh, she's on hold.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes. Good,
yes,
good.
so that is how it would work. You're doing a great job of explaining it. If I can understand it, and repeat it, you're doing a great
Little by
job.
little. Because if not, if everything is going one way, it's really confusing. Step by step has to be because it's going different directions. And we have to understand in this way. For example, electronic components.
Hmm.
Electronic components, sometimes they get some gold in it. The
Yes,
connectors,
yes,
they get gold. It's necessary for the functionality. In that case, that company has to be raised.
got it. Now see, and that's amazing to me, and I've learned a lot from this too because I knew about IMDS that people, had to report, but I didn't know the 3TG. I had no idea. And I know I do a lot of work with electronics companies, and I would never have thought to ask that. So you've helped me become better at my job, by helping me understand. So I appreciate that very much. And maybe
Oh,
people that don't necessarily handle or report IMDS, like yourself, like who would be reporting, but people that work within the company who are auditing within the company and they see these minerals being used within their company, then they at least know to ask the question, right? And where's the
right,
evidence
right.
and how do I know? And woohoo,
Yeah,
yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome.
yeah,
So what are
yeah.
some of the
Always I
most,
was, when I got, oh, go ahead.
no, 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 go ahead and finish, Dee Dee, what you were going to say.
When I got the job to be responsible for conflict minerals, I was the conflict minerals coordinator. I really enjoy doing that because it's like investigating many things, and one thing open another thing, and I'm open another door, and I was, oh my gosh, surprise! It was
That's
really
great.
interesting because I was calling a couple suppliers and the owners were saying, I don't have any conflict minerals. And I said, okay, tell me about your product. For
Hmm.
different branches, I know that we were buying the components, right?
Hmm.
But so many branches, you start losing track. Okay, if this one is, for example, making tables, right? Or desks in the
Yeah.
furniture branch, do we use conflict minerals? Maybe on the screws that we were using or something, right? And I
Yes.
start investigating, needed or not. Do you need to fill out this form? You have to be into that to be to get the information and the right information to be able to evaluate them
Yes.
because they can say no, I don't use, but really if you study and get the material cert and start reading that, each
Hmm.
company, they can say no, but the documents won't lie.
That's
Documents
right.
will tell you, okay, the components are this and the
Yeah.
material and all the substances that, okay, you will see. it contains or not.
Exactly. Trust but
It really,
verify, right? I believe what you tell
right,
me, right? Now let's verify it. Let's show me the
right,
evidence and let's close the door, right? Yep, excellent.
exactly.
Yep,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, thank you. So what did you find was the most challenging in that position in reporting the conflict minerals? What kind of, what was your most challenging um, part?
Well, a lot of companies, they didn't want to participate on this or send me the forms. And I was,
Mhm.
okay, I have to convince these people,
Yeah.
explaining, okay, you want to, are, are you going to support the armed groups, the human rights, to be violated, and child abuse,
Wow.
and human trafficking? Are you supporting that? Because you don't want to fill
Oh,
out this form. We want
Dee
to
Dee.
find out.
Awesome.
And looking for my way. And then they were just thinking, oh, that's right. Okay, I'm going to register my company. All right. I'm going to
Yeah.
send you the form. Okay, Didi. Yeah, next week you're going to have the answer. Okay, waiting next week. I had to do the follow up, right? Okay. Did
Yeah.
you call? Did you register?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's right.
But there
Yeah.
were so many, a lot of hours that I was trying to get with them, and sometimes they were on vacation. They were, and my paperwork had to be done. I had a due date
Sure.
to meet, and all the reports had to be done by end of certain date. And they asked for extension, and I was getting one more week, and they didn't have the material search, and I was following up, or I was helping them calling their own supplier to provide the
Wow.
material cert, and then, okay,
Yeah.
you got the material cert, now read it, fill out the form, and you send me. It's one way that I can help because I cannot fill out the form for you. In
Right.
that case, I had to be really organized, keeping all my due dates. I had my own report sorting the companies that I had to call, and I didn't have any help. I was the only one holding all those
Wow.
phone calls, documents, paperwork.
So
After
not only
that,
do
I had
you,
I was sending to the legal department. Legal department put everything together to present to the government because they have to go
gotcha.
to court and present all those. Big
Wow.
companies, they do a lot.
Yes, they do. And so you don't only have to be organized, and methodical, but you have to really be willing to go above and beyond what your daily routine would be because you're calling, you're going beyond the supplier to the sub-supplier and going, hey, I need this information or, doing their work for them. So, wow, good for
Right.
you.
They
Yeah.
they needed help.
Yeah.
Sometimes they were like, I don't know what to do. Okay, let me do for you. And I was just helping a little bit. In that case, make it
Sure.
easier for them to do not be so frustrated filling out this form, because the CFSI is one page that you can find online.
Hmm.
It's conflict-free sourcing initiative that this its role as helping to end the conflict in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. In that case, they are trying to end up, if everybody cooperates, if everybody is getting the data and
Hmm.
supporting the SEC, in that case, security exchange will have all the information, and we're gonna do better trying um, to the armed groups to step back a little bit, or
Yeah.
make it hard for them to start taking over us,
Yeah.
because they are trying to take over and manipulate the law. In that
Yes.
case, we are more people, we are together, and we can do this
Yeah.
to
That
keep
is a,
good data. Yes,
yeah,
to
that's
keep good
amazing.
data.
Yeah. Excellent, Dee Dee. Wow, that's so powerful and so important. I've got goosebumps, when you talk about that. I mean, it's just, and everybody should, right? Because that's why I think the bottom line, that's why it's so important for this reporting and getting your company, on that database and being an approved supplier, right, is to drive this down or eliminate it, right? And that's the goal, is to
Right.
eliminate all that abuse and
At least,
tyranny. Yeah.
at least they have the idea how this work and
Hmm.
what they should do and what the suppliers had to put more focus on and getting all the information for their raw material because they are
Absolutely.
gonna start sending to other companies and customers send to another ones. Everything is a chain and we
Hmm.
have to be with the right information.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
you cannot believe that I grew up in a city that that was a mining company, 15 minutes from the city that I grew up. And my dad
Okay.
used to work over there, 30
Okay.
years in that mining company. But it was iron company, okay?
Okay.
And I know the whole entire system. That's why I was, oh my gosh, this is like a coming back to my childhood, running around, going to the
Full
mining company.
circle. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
was really nice.
That
Good
is very nice.
experience too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have one more thing. So when we were talking earlier this year, you mentioned that
Mm-hmm.
you used a software to help you organize and report the IMDS requirements because of course you had these, 128 different branches and things that you were trying to coordinate, and not everybody's that big, but some people are. So knowing that you're not making any recommendations, right? We're not recommending anything. We're only providing information. Can you maybe share a little bit about, who you used and what your experience was with those providers?
We use iPoint. They are giving seminars. They train a lot of people. You can see every 3 months they are getting in, where is it, Indiana,
Okay.
and they are taking us to big conference. They can come to Chicago, and when this in Chicago, you can go to the conference in downtown, and they explain everything about conflict minerals, also about how to fill out the form, and what do we have to be looking at, and how the suppliers will react when they receive the forms, and also that the same information we're gonna use to fill out our own form to send to the customer. In that case, everything. If I receive from the supplier, that form I'm gonna use for my customers. It's the
Hmm.
same information, but it has to be my name, my signature, and my logo. In that case, uh, they are explaining everything. There is support over the phone. They can help you with um, any situation that you might have filling out any forms. Always they have good support. I think they work until 7 to 7,
Okay.
and always I was calling, and they were always helping over the phone to how to fix the issue that I was having at that moment. Also, there is
Excellent.
another company, Ascent Compliance. It's a big company that they are like a third party company. They can have they can support getting the information for you, keeping all the data, answering all your suppliers or your customers, filling out the forms for you. They can do the entire job for you. And
Okay.
it's a company that they have a lot of people really capable to do it. And they can come to the city that you are, and they can run training day for you, and they can do everything for you.
Okay.
Because there are companies that sometimes they don't have a specific person dedicated to conflict minerals, and the owner prefer to get a third party company taking care of everything. In that case, this company is really good. I went to so many
Okay.
seminars that they had conferences and really nice. They put examples. They make you different quizzes that you can do with them. It's really interesting, those classes.
So kind of what I
And
got,
then,
what I got out of that, Dee Dee, was that if you're going to choose a company to support you with reporting and gathering IMDS information, it's beneficial to have them have a person dedicated to conflict minerals.
yes,
Okay.
yes, because it's a lot of documents that you have to enter in the system and keep records for everything. And,
Mm-hmm.
and if you have many branches, it's going to be a lot, because I used to work sometimes from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Wow.
and trying to keep all my papers together. And I did for 3 years. And after that, I said, must be an easier way. And
Yeah.
that's why we got this company, iPoint,
Mm-hmm.
and we were using their template. We were using their system, which was easier for us just to send through their system the forms automatically in one click. You can send to all the suppliers. It
Wow.
was really
Okay.
nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, saving some time. Then I went back to my regular time, working 8 to 4. It was good.
Oh, wow. Wow. That was a great benefit. Holy smokes.
Yes,
Oh, holy moly.
it's true.
That's a
Yeah,
testament to how they helped you, right? To getting you back to a normal work day instead of a 12-hour days every
I
day.
know. So
Wow.
many. And I was,
That's amazing.
when is gonna end? But
Yeah.
when you have the enthusiasm and you're so happy doing it, you don't care about the time. I know
Oh,
sometimes I was
man.
forgetting also dinner, and I was, what time is it? It's 8 o'clock. I have to go home.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Very good. Hey, just
Yeah.
a fun fact. You've done a great job and you're so informative and I really appreciate you taking the time and come and talk to me and share your knowledge and your information with everybody. I can't help but think this is going to help so many people and make people aware, of conflict minerals and the impact and why the IMDS, system is so important, right? So I also learned a little bit about your name, Deknisa, right? So tell me, yeah, so
Yes.
tell everybody a little bit about your name and your family because it's just I thought it was hilarious. So what is
Oh, there are 16 in the family.
yes, yes.
16 Dagnisa. So, yeah. Well, my name is Dagnisa, spelled Dacnisa. But I have a cousin that instead C spelled with T. Another cousin with N. Mine is with one N, but my cousin has two N's. Other one has with two S's. Another, I'm like, okay, 16 different ways. It's
Wow.
C, T, or double N and double S and different ways. And total of 16 different ways spell out in the family, but pronounced the same. You can
That
pronounce the same. Sounds the
exactly the
same.
same. So there's 16 Deknises all spelled differently in your family. that's, that's amazing. And I think that you told me too what makes you stand out from them as well is you don't have a middle name, right? Everyone has a middle name, but you don't have a
Everyone
second
has a
name.
middle name.
Yeah.
Yes, second name.
A second
I'm
name.
the only one that doesn't have the second name. One is, Dagnis Rosa, Dagnis Juana, Dagnis different,
Yeah.
but I'm the only one Dagnis with no second name,
No second
just the
name.
last name.
Well, excellent.
Hmm.
Well, Dee Dee, I want to thank you so much for visiting. And so everyone, you can find a little bit more information about IMDS. You can go to www.mdsystem.com or you can go to public, www.public.mdsystem.com. And if you have any questions or suggestions for topics that you would like to see covered, you can contact me at ISO to IATF, ISOTOIATF at gmail.com, or you can simply leave a comment here. And so until next time, thank you, Dee Dee, very much. And thank you, everyone, for joining.
We hope you enjoy this video. On our next video, we will provide information on how to navigate the different ISO 9001 and IATF 16949 requirements all companies face during their audit process. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you would like a demo of the SNCC software, contact information is provided below this video. Thanks again, and have a great day.